The consolidated PBY was a key element in winning the Pacific War against Japan. Jim Slattery, a devoted student of World War II and founder of the Greatest Generation Naval Museum in San Diego, knew that his collection of U.S. Navy aircraft would not be complete without one. He found this PBY in South Africa, where he had the aircraft undergo a meticulous and lengthy restoration.
Some of the planes less well known, but had great contributions. The reason you're here and we went after the PBY was the Battle of Midway. That was the reason for wanting to get that airplane, was because Strawberry 5 was the PBY that found the Japanese, and the extraordinary contribution that these airplanes made during the war, which people don't fully understand. They were terrific sub-killers. They kept the submarines, as far as their range off the coast of England and off the coast of the United States. And there's just something about the PBY to me. It's like an ugly duckling that you can't help but fall in love with. It has its own form of beauty and its own form of, there's something special about it. But the relationship to us and what I wanted to accomplish was really about having it as an essential member of what happened at the Battle of Midway, and the Battle of Midway being the pivotal place. And it was a little bit of a nutty thing. I mean, not too many people buy an airplane 12,000 miles away, and we had to go over there, restore it, fix it. So we had to search the world for things like the watertight doors between the compartments, and have the blisters restored, and everything back to make it original. We just kept kicking butt till it was done. But we were pretty determined, and thought it would be worthwhile in the end to do it. And what an adventure. So it was kind of fun. And the PBY was an interesting aircraft, and it didn't have floors. And it had a 10-man crew. It had catwalks. And in the section that we're in right now, we would have our radio operator and navigator. So the plane had a pilot, a co-pilot. They had an interesting theory then. They didn't want the pilots to have any gauges that would distract them. They wanted their eyes outside, because that was their job. So this plane also had one of the first flight engineers, and he sat in a little seat up in the pylon up there. And he controlled all the engines, he read the gauges, he did everything that wasn't essential to flying. So this was really a VFR flying plane. This was a seat of the pants, look out the window airplane. Was designed to be that, because those guys had to stay out there and find those kids in the water or find the enemy. And because they went out on great long trips, they also had a cook. And a little kitchen to keep everybody fed and happy. A couple of guys in them who manned machine guns, guys who did the actual recoveries and spotting. And so all in all, they had 10 men with a series of watertight compartments. It's built like a submarine, so that if you punctured one or had a wounded one and had to land, you didn't flood the entire thing. We play with the airplane and riverbeds and lakes and pretty calm situations. These guys were putting these airplanes into 10-foot seas and getting out again in combat conditions. Extraordinary group of young men that did that.
Oh, blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down. You mean
To board a PBY, you climb a short ladder, step through the left blister, walk up the catwalk, and go headfirst through the forward hatch into the cockpit. An unusual aspect of the cockpit is that the throttles and engine controls are on the ceiling. Starting the 14-cylinder Pratt & Whitney radial engines is more art than science, and the sound they make when coming alive is pure nostalgia. The airplane does not have nose-wheel steering. You have to use differential braking to maintain directional control while taxiing. Steering during the takeoff roll is done by walking the throttles until the rudder becomes effective. Maneuvering a PBY requires you to use muscles you never knew you had. Airplane systems are relatively simple. The PBY doesn't even have wing flaps. The landing gear is operated hydraulically, and the wheels can be extended in the water for taxiing up a ramp and onto land. Come over the fence at 80 knots, ease the power off, and land the big flying boat like any other airplane. Flying a PBY is like soaring slowly and romantically across the pages of history. This is Barrry Schiff for AOPA Live.